Hello, my name is Owen O'Neill. In this video, I'm going to show you a feature that we have been working on in our PlanningSpace Dataflow application to allow you to embed Excel spreadsheets directly within your Dataflow documents. Dataflow is our upstream life of field data management tool, which sits in our PlanningSpace platform. On the left-hand side of the Dataflow application here, I've got my hierarchy of documents and projects. Uh, this is our test data set, and under the United Kingdom, Northern North Sea, we have a field called Ballymorey. So I've got this project document open here, and as normal, we will have configured our project template to store the project attributes that we're interested in capturing. And moving across into our production and cost tabs, we can see our time series data. So on the production tab, we have here the oil production, gas production, and so on. And we can look at those numbers and modify them directly within the document. We have here some op cost data, capex data. So really all of the standard forecast data that we would capture for all of our projects. So the new feature that we have added, we're going to see it on our economics tab here. It's the ability to embed an Excel spreadsheet within our Dataflow document and then hook it up to our Dataflow variables to sort of dynamically read data out of our Dataflow variables and push some results back in. But having a spreadsheet embedded directly within the document here allows us to do some rapid evaluations on a project by project basis. Okay, so I'm going to flick to Excel for a moment just to show you the Excel document that I brought in. So in this case, I'm using one of our Palantir regime library economic documents. So this is from our CacheAX tool, which uses standard Excel files to calculate economics. So this is just a standard Excel model. We can have a look through some of the tabs. So like we'd expect, we have an inputs tab with time series data. We can enter in production numbers, specify prices, capex costs, operating costs, and so on. So we have all of the inputs would be loaded into our inputs tab or typed in directly there. We have a number of calculation sheets that calculate the gross cash flows for the entire field and then the net cash flows depending on my equity in the field. And finally, we have some cash flow reports at the end. So we'll see here using some standard Excel charts, but we've got no input data here, so we have consequently no results. Flick back to Dataflow, and we have a new control type here, which is a spreadsheet control right within my Dataflow document. And what I've done is I have the option down here to upload an external file. So I've just taken that Excel economics document and loaded it into my spreadsheet control here in Dataflow. Okay, so what I can show you is when I move to the inputs tab, the only thing that we've done here to enable this calculation is we have a special Excel formula called get data. And this get data formula, it can pull from any of my Dataflow input variables. So I just specify the variable name. So you can see up here, I've just, for demo purposes, I've repeated my oil production variable here in the same tab. So I just specify the variable name, and then this formula is just getting an offset really of the date. So that's just really taking the current year minus the start year to say this is sort of period 1, period 2, period 3. But what we can see is that there's actually a dynamic link between the input variables in Dataflow and the numbers in the spreadsheet. So as I start to update the production numbers, so I can overtype these here. So let's just increase that from 30,000 to 50,000 barrels a day. And when I hit return or tab, we can see that number updating directly within the spreadsheet. Similarly, I can see my op costs here. These are my field op costs, 90, 81. So let's just scroll across. And I can see those numbers directly in here. So all of these cells that I've colored this sort of orange color are hooked up directly to Dataflow variables. So as I go across my tabs, I could see those numbers. So again, on the CapEx side, that's coming directly from my CapEx tab. And let's just click through to the report. So again, because this is all dynamically linked together, as I change these numbers, I can see the impact immediately within my Excel file. So again, let's just up the production here in 2015. Again, I'll just double it so we'll see the change, and you will actually see the chart updating in the Excel file. So we'll see the jump in production there in 2015. Okay, what I'd like to show you now is how we can extract results from our spreadsheet back into Dataflow variables. So we want to close the loop here. We've sent some numbers in and we want to take the results back into Dataflow. So let's have a look at this economic limit variable, for example. We've used an expression here which calls a function get workbook data. So we're telling Dataflow here, take a value back out of the spreadsheet, and we give it the Excel cell reference. So it's the report sheet, cell D8, to extract the economic limit year. So we can see that there, report D8 is that economic limit. And again, just to show how this works dynamically, if I was to start to increase my operating costs, for example, let's just make them jump up here. Just need to make them sufficiently high for my field to become uneconomic in that year. So we're not going to recover that huge expenditure that I put in there in 2023. So my economic limit in the Excel spreadsheet has jumped back to 2023, and that's reflected here. And similarly, I could see my my NPV being affected there. Okay, that is all for today. Thank you for your time.